The National Humanities Medal is an American award that annually recognizes several individuals, groups, or institutions for work that has deepened the nation's understanding of the humanities, broadened our citizens' engagement with the humanities, or helped preserve and expand Americans' access to important resources in the humanities. The annual Charles Frankel Prize in the Humanities was established in 1988 and succeeded by the National Humanities Medal in 1997. The initial design for the National Humanities Medal was created by a 1995 Frankel Prize winner, David Macaulay, and was used for all recipients through 2012. During 2013, the National Endowment for the Humanities ran a public competition for a new medal design, judged by metalsmith Chunghi Choo, coin engraver Don Everhart of the U.S.Mint and sculptor George Anthonisen. In June 2013, the agency announced that a design by Paul C. Balin of Illinois had been selected as the winner. The final medal will be unveiled in Washington, D.C. in November 2013. The new design was used for the first time for the 2013 National Humanities Medals, which were presented in mid-2014. Medals are conferred once annually, usually by the U.S. President, to as many as 12 living candidates and existing organizations nominated early in the calendar year. The President selects the winners in consultation with the National Endowment for the Humanities. NEH asks that nominators consult a list of previous winners and consider the National Medal of Arts to recognize contributions in the creative or performing arts. Recipients. Medalists are listed by year, then alphabetically. 2015 Rudolfo Anaya, author. Jose Andre, chef and AMP entrepreneur. Ron Chernow, author. Louise Gluck, poet. Terry Gross, radio host and AMP producer. Wynton Marsalis, composer and AMP musician. James McBride, author. Louis Menon, author. Elaine Pagels, historian and AMP author. Prison University Project Higher Education Program. Abraham Verghese, physician, professor and AMP author. Isabel Wilkerson, journalist and AMP author. 2014 The Clemente Course in the Humanities. Annie Dillard, author. Everett L. Fly, architect and preservationist. Rebecca Goldstein, philosopher and novelist. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham, historian. Jhumpa Lahiri, short story writer and novelist. Fedwa Malti Douglas, scholar. Larry McMurtry, novelist. Vicky Lynn Ruiz, historian. Alice Waters, author and food activist. 2013 M. H. Abrams, literary critic. American Antiquarian Society, historical organization. David Bryan Davis, historian. William Theodore Barry, East Asian Studies scholar. Darlene Clark Hine, historian. John Paul Jones, architect. Stanley Nelson Jr., producer and director. Diane Rame, radio host. Anne Ferrascott, historian. Krista Tippett, radio host and author. 2012 Edward L. Ayres, historian. William G. Bowen, academic leader. Jilka Conway, author and leader in higher education. Natalie Zeman Davis, historian. Frank Deford, sports writer. Joan Didion, novelist and essayist. Robert D. Putnam, political scientist. Marilyn Robinson, novelist. Gay Ryan, poet. Robert B. Silvers, editor. Anna Devere Smith, actress and playwright. Camilo Jose Vergara, photographer and documentarian. 2011 Kwame Anthony Appiah, philosopher. John Ashbery, poet. Robert Darnton, historian and librarian. National History Day program. Andrew Delbanco, literary scholar. Charles Rosen, musician and scholar. Teofilo Ruiz, medieval historian. Ramon Saldivar, literary scholar. Amartya Sen, economist and Nobel laureate. 2010 Daniel Aaron, literature professor and publisher. Bernard Bailyn, historian; Jacques Bazoun, historian; Wendell Berry, novelist and environmentalist; Roberto González Echeverría, literature critic; Stanley Niederkatz, historian; Joyce Carol Oates, novelist; Arnold Rampersad, critic and biographer; Philip Roth, novelist; Gordon S. Wood, historian. 2009 Robert Caro, Annette Gordon-Reed, David Levering Lewis, William H. McNeill, Philippe de Montebello, Albert H. Small, Ted Sorensen, Elie Wiesel, 2008 Gabor Borat, Richard Brookhuizen, Harold Holzer, Myron Magnet, Albert Marin, Milton J. Rosenberg, Thomas A. Saunders III and Jordan Horner Saunders, Robert H. Smith, John Templeton Foundation, Norman Rockwell Museum, 2007 Stephen Balch, Russell Friedman, Victor Davis Hanson, Roger Hartog, Cynthia Ozick, Richard Pipes, Pauline Schultz, Henry Snyder, Ruth Wiss, Monuments Men Foundation for the Preservation of Art, 2006 Fouare Jami, James M. Buchanan, Nicholas Davitzes, Robert Fagles, Mary Lefkowitz, Bernard Lewis, Mark Knoll, Merrill Secrest, Kevin Starr, Hoover Institution on War, Revolution and Peace, Stanford University, 2005 Walter Burns, Matthew Bogdanos, Eva Brand, John Lewis Gaddis, Richard Gilder, Mary Ann Glendon, Lee Keno, Leslie Keno, Alan Charles Cause, Louise Lehrman, Judith Martin, The Washington Papers, University of Virginia, 2004 Marva Collins, Gertrude Himmelfarb, Hilton Kramer, Madeleine L'Engle, Harvey Mansfield, John Searle, Shelby Steele, United States Capitol Historical Society, 2003 Robert Ballard, Joan Gans Cooney, Midge Decter, Joseph Epstein, Elizabeth Fox Genoves, Jean Fritz, Hal Holbrook, Edith Kurzweil, Frank M. Snowden, Jr., John Updike, 2002 Frankie Hewitt, Iowa Writers Workshop, Donald Kagan, Brian Lamb, Ard Linkletter, Patricia McLaughlin, Mount Vernon Ladies Association, Thomas Sowell, 2001 Jose Cisneros, Robert Coles, Sharon Darling, William Manchester, Richard Peck, Eileen Jackson Southern, Tom Wolfe, National Trust for Historic Preservation, 2000 Robert N. Bella, Will D. Campbell, Judy Crichton, David C. Driscoll, Ernest Gaines, Herman T. Guerrero, Quincy Jones, Barbara Kingsolver, Edmund S. Morgan, Toni Morrison, Earl Shorris, Virginia Driving Hawks Neve, 1999 Patricia Batten, Taylor Branch, Jacqueline Dowd Hall, Garrison Keillor, Jim Lehrer, John Rawls, Steven Spielberg, August Wilson, 1998 Stephen E. Ambrose, E. L. Doctorow, Diana L. Eck Nancy Brown G.A.J., Henry Louis Gates Jr., Vartan Gregorian, Ramon Eduardo Ruiz, Arthur M. Schlesinger Jr., Gary Wills, 1997 Nina M. Archibald, David A. Berry, Richard Frank, William Friday, Don Henley, Maxine Honkingston, Louise Leal, Martin Marty, Paul Mellon, Studs Terkel, Charles Frankel Prize, 1996 Rita Dove, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Daniel Kemmis, Arturo Madrid, Bill Moyers, 1995 William R. Ferris, Charles Kuralt, David Macaulay, David McCulloch, Bernice Johnson Reagan, 1994 Ernest L. Boyer, William Kittredge, Peggy Whitman Prenshaw, Sharon Percy Rockefeller, Dorothy Porter Wesley, 1993 Ricardo E. Allegria, John Hope Franklin, Hannah Gray, Andrew Heiskell, Laurel T. Ulrich, 1992 Alan Bloom, Shelby Foote, Richard Rodriguez, Harold K. Skramstad Jr. Eudora Welty. 1991 Winton Blunt, Ken Burns, Louise Cowan, Carl Haas, John T. Chen. 1990 Mortimer Adler, Henry Hampton, Bernard M. W. Knox, David Van Tassel, Ethel R. Wolfe. 1989 Patricia L. Bates, Daniel Boston, Willard L. Boyd, Clay Jenkinson, Americo Paredes.